So this afternoon's time together is to explore, firstly from what an organization called Life Choices, what they're already doing in schools. So we'll have three of their staff members speak to us, and then we'll have a principal speak to us from the context of where he's implemented some of those ideas and what he's doing holistically in terms of parental engagement. And then, as we conclude those two discussions or two presentations, we'll have an opportunity for questions and answers. And please note, if you have a question, write it down. Don't lose it. We want you to engage with us this afternoon. I'm sure we won't be able to exhaust the topic, but this is a start, really, where we want to get some conversation going this afternoon. Today's topic, parental engagement, and I'm going to say a big welcome to Life Choices and Tatenda, Andrew, and Nolutandu. Welcome. We are so happy to have you here with us this afternoon. And over to you guys. Let's give them a big round of applause as they come to the front.
Good afternoon, everyone. So we are from an organization called Salesian Life Choices. And in addition to Nolutando and Andrew, we also have some of our team members that are in the audience. So Desiree, can you please wave? Chris, could you please wave? And Zara, could you please wave? So this is a team from Salesian Life Choices. And before we start, we're a youth development organization, and we're just going to be doing something fun with you just to get started. Over to you, Andrew.
It's very important that you get someone, because what we're going to do now is but an illustration of our message within this program. Okay? So I hope everybody's got one. So basically what's going to happen is I'm going to give you an instruction. We're going to do about 3 or 4 times. With each time we're going to speed it up. Okay, so we'll do a little slow, just take the car for a test drive, warm up the engine a bit, so on, right? But I'm asking you just, you're going to move a little bit, not too much, but a little bit, okay? So you just need to follow me, okay? So with your partner, if I say hand to hand, you can follow Tatenda and Nolly over here, you can put your hands together. There we go. If I say head to head, you can put your hands together. Here we go, foot to foot. Foot to foot, foot to foot, foot to foot, foot to foot, foot to foot. There we go. We go arm to arm. Arm to arm. Right, finger to ear. Not your ear, other person's ear. Thank you. Finger to ear, not your ear, other person's ear. There we go, their ear. Touch their ear. Feel the ear, feel the ear. There we go. Right, do we understand each other? Right, that was round 1. That's round 1, okay? Right, here we go. We're going to go a little faster. Just follow me, okay? Back to back, arm to arm. Foot to foot, leg to leg, head to head, hip to hip.
Hip to hip.
Ah, here we go. Right, that's round 1, gone. Right, here we go. Right, round 2, here we go. Here we go, round 2, right. Back to back, foot to foot, head to head, finger to nose, finger to nose, finger to nose, finger to nose. Right, back to back, head to head, hip to hip, leg to leg, arm to arm. There we go. Give yourself a hand. That's round 2. That's righto. Arm to arm, leg to leg, hand to hand, back to back, head to head, ear to ear, ear to ear, ear to ear, ear to ear, head to head, back to back, hand to bum. Ah, gotcha. Righto. Give yourselves a hand. One simple thing that we try to achieve throughout the program, and that is that family life can be nice, and it can be fun, and it can also be uncomfortable. And through our program and through the work that we do, we try to assist families to function when it's fun and when it's not so fun. You know, like when I said hand to bum, it's not so nice. Someone over there showed me when I said finger to nose, was like, no ways, I'm not going there, you know? And sometimes it's hard for us to go there. And there's certain spaces that when we are in families that we are called to go that we weren't prepared for. And that is why we have this program. And I'm going to immediately hand over to Tatenda. He's going to take you further.
Okay. Thank you very much, Andrew. So just to start off, We are a youth development organization, and my role today is just to give you an understanding and an overview of the organization. So if you look at the slide that's being displayed at the moment, there's some quite shocking stats, and I think we've started alluding to some of these conversations already. I'll pick out a few. 1 in 3 girls will have a baby by the age of 18. We have children raising children. 54% of the youth is unemployed. Poverty is rife in our communities. 10% of deaths are due to suicide. Mental health is a challenge in our communities. These are just some of the statistics, and these are some of the things that people are grappling with, the parents are grappling with. So as an organization, we are a bold movement that invests in youth to tackle inequality. And how do we go about doing this? As an organization, we ask ourselves the question, what does a person born in the Cape Flats need in order for them to thrive in life? And for each need, there's a building block. The first one is family stability. And this is the reason why we're here, so I won't dwell too much on that one. The second one is health. We have a health promotion program that aims at providing youth-friendly health services. We provide this service in schools, and we mainly focus on HIV counseling and testing. We also have leadership and education as key building blocks. And this has to do with the Leaders Quest program, a program that looks at emotional intelligence, servant leadership, and how to create a future generation of servant leaders. People that are going to be giving back to the community and not in leadership position for selfish reasons. The last building block is employment. Not all the youth are going to go to university, and the world is changing rapidly. So what we've got is a coding program that offers a 6-month internship with us at Life Choices, where they learn the hard skill of coding and some soft skills as well, and thereafter they go into industry. And this is really about finding a future-orientated skill, and we found coding to be one of those. So this is just a brief illustration of what we do as an organization. But today, the focus is on family stability. And I'll be handing over to Nolly to take us through what we do and how we do it. Thank you.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. It's such an honor to be standing here today, and a privilege as well, especially to stand in front of people. I can already see the primary school teacher of mine. To be able to actually stand here, it's such an honor, and to actually have people that really cares about the well-being of our kids. So my name is Nolutando, as Tatena have mentioned. So I will be explaining the program of family affairs as to why are we doing it, yes? We discovered that 11 years ago when we started this program, we were working in schools, and we were working basically in primary schools as well as high schools. So as we were working in these schools, we've discovered that it seems as if we are pouring water in a broken bucket, because we are trying to uplift these learners at schools. We are trying to install positivity and to tell them that they are worth it. They can be able to achieve whatever that they can. However, these children, they go back home, and then at home they're told that they're stupid, they're told that they're clumsy, they're told all these sort of things. And then when they're coming back to us again, their self-esteem is very low, and we try to actually uplift them once again. That's whereby we discovered that actually it seems as if we are pouring water in a broken bucket, because what we are teaching in schools, what we are teaching in society, and what we are teaching in schools, they are totally different, which actually clash and confuses our children. So if we want our children to be able to have a healthy mindset, to be able to actually be empowered and become the leaders of tomorrow, we need to start to family stability. We need to start investing in families, because reality is families is the cornerstone of our society. If we can have healthy families will be able to have healthier society, right? So we realize that unfortunately we cannot give what we don't have. And as the movie has explained earlier on, that the challenges that we as parents goes through has a lot of impact on how we're raising our children, has a lot of impact on how involved are we in our children's life, including the academic life as well. If I'm not in a good state of mind, if I'm not emotionally fit, it will be difficult for me to actually engage well with my child and be able to support my child as my child is growing up. So that's a reason why we started this program, to say, how can we get the parents involved so that they can be able to uplift themselves first, so that they can be able to uplift their children. Reality is we cannot give what we don't have. I cannot love my child before I love myself. There is no way I'll be able to understand my child if I don't understand myself as a parent. The other lady there mentioned from Nolutando Deaf, School of Deaf, that we are facing a challenge of having single mom. Standing in front of you is a single mother. And knowing the challenges and the difficulties of being a single mother, we need support like this. And this is the reason why we started this program, because we want to raise generation that are able to actually be empowered and have self-confidence. Apart from all the other things that are happening, a part of the circumstances that we are going through, because reality is challenges will be thrown at us. This is life. But we need a society that will be able to bounce back. We need a society that will be able to say, above all circumstances that I'm actually raising my children under, but I'm able to stand still as a parent and rise above in whatever. Like, for instance, the activity that Andrew did, which simply means breaking boundaries. At uncomfortable situations, how are we able to stand and have a backbone as parents, supporting our children, making it a point that our environment at home is healthy? So I'm going to hand over quickly to Andrew so that he can explain how exactly we are doing all of this.
Thank you, Nolly. Thank you, Tatinda. It is truly a privilege for us to be here. I regard it very highly when we can speak to educators. And basically, I'll just be talking about how we actually do it. So I just have some questions, and you can just think about it. First question would be, have you ever felt that or thought about some stuff at times and thought, wow, I wonder if I had done that, what would have happened? How many of us have done that before? Prepare? I think most of us in this room, right? How many of you trust your children? And I'm not talking about till they're by the door. I'm talking about actually trusting your children because they are a human being. It's two different things, you know. You can trust your... So you only trust them till by the school? Your own children. Your own children, your children, your children, your children. You trust your children, there we go, for who they are. Right, there we go. Right? You see how many hands suddenly went up now? You know? How many of your children trust you? And I'm not talking about them having a bed to sleep in at home and a plate of food to eat or anything, but they actually trust you for who you are. Put up your hand. Interesting. Interesting. You know? How many of you have done some things, for instance, you've got to make a choice. You've got to make a choice, and then you go to this one for advice. They say something, you go to that one for advice. They say something, you go to this person, they give you advice, and then you end up not doing anything. Who's ever done that before? Put a bed. Yeah, we can relate to it, right? The reason why I'm asking you these questions, and if you're thinking about it, and if you could put up your hand and say, wow, I've done that before, is some of the things that we probe into when we deal with a program called Family Affairs. So one of the first things that we do is we work with various, where we've got the program is divided up into 3 sections. The first focus is self-development, right? So we first deal with the parent. We first deal with you as the person that is leading someone else. As my colleague Nolly said, you cannot give what you don't have. So in the workshop, it's divided up into 7 sessions. It runs over 7 weeks, once per week. The sessions are normally about 3.5 hours. In that session, we have various discussions. Like I said, we talk about self. Then we'll focus on the child, aspects of the child, because we found that many times parents don't understand why children are doing certain things at certain ages. How many of us have been prepared to be parents? That's another question I think most of us would think about. Our parents weren't prepared. Because nobody sat them down and told them, at 3 years old, this is why this child is going to act like this. This is why a 2-year-old, when you go to Pick n Pay, he's going to nag for that chocolate and nag for that chocolate. And the auntie standing with you in the line is going to look at you and say, just give that child to me for 1 day. That's what goes through our minds and stuff. So one of the aspects we deal of understanding why kids actually act the way that they act. Why they have different behaviors, what is people's personalities, how do we deal with those personalities and things. The following thing in the workshop we deal with is the system. Many people, through our experience, we found that many people don't have or understand the system at home. We don't understand what it announces about the family. We do not announce what the rules are, why they are in place, how they're supposed to function, what is its purpose. Things like that, routine, structures. How do I put it in place? Where do I start? How do I call a family meeting even? Sure. There's so many people that don't know how to do this. People have a fear of having a meeting and sitting down with families and having discussions. We deal with things like listening to each other, speaking to each other. Do you know that most of the time when you're talking to someone, you don't want them to answer you again? You don't want an answer. You just want someone to listen. Yeah. And so many times in families, people don't know how to listen. So those are some of the skills we deal with. We deal with things like anger. What triggers it? Where does it come from? How to manage it? How to look into those things. Things like misbehavior. I like asking people when I speak to them, can a child actually be naughty? I wish you could see your faces now. What is misbehavior? How do we deal with it? And how do we actually show people that they are accepted? And then one of the sessions that we also include is giving back. We call it a gift session. Because we don't just take people through a 7-week program, put them together and teach them a lot of skills. We also empower them where they are able then to decide how they're going to give back to the community that they are in. So they come up with ideas and they decide how they're going to give back to the community and what they can come up with a little event and they can take it from there. The premise of the program is that we don't make decisions for parents or for families. Not at all. However, we do give them the skills they require to make decisions. Because we are not always there. When we are not around, they're the ones that have to call the shots and make decisions. The second part of there are 2 benefit services that goes with the program. The first one is job search counseling. Now, we don't provide people with jobs. We have found that when parents go through the jobs, we find that sometimes parents would be they start dreaming again. They start thinking about that thing that, wow, I wonder if I could try that. I've been looking for work. Some people don't even know how to look for work. Some people don't even know how to answer a phone when somebody phones them and tells them they got a job. Some parents don't even know how to put their CV together. So that's why we have job search in place to assist them with job preparedness. Right? And then also within job search, we've got things that focus on entrepreneurial skills. Maybe the parent has a bit of a part-time business, but it's never been formalized yet, or they've got the idea. We do have that space within job search as well, where we would sit with them and get the guidance that they need and the mentoring that they need as well. The service is not only offered for the participants of the workshop, it's offered for the whole family. So if there is a teenager that needs to choose his subjects because he's in high school or he has to go study further, he can see the job search counselor and they can assist him. And normally those sessions are about 3 sessions each, right? We offer counseling or therapy as well. This is also not only for the parent, but also for the family. Because we have found that when you deal with family issues, as it was spoken about earlier, and you could already hear the emotional things that go with some of the things that was mentioned here, people need a space where they can actually talk to someone. It is a confidential space that we set up for them, where they can come and say what's bothering them, things they haven't dealt with for years, and every time in class, from the word go, we can see the emotional trauma that people are going through. And if they are going through it, I can guarantee you their family is going through it as well. We offer about 3 sessions of those as well. The job search counselor, the therapist comes to the area we are working in. So you don't have to come to our offices. They come to your area. The workshop is also run in the area where we work. Okay? So all of this, when we say that you are part of the program, we actually mean that you are part of all 3 components of the program. So if you are in the workshop, you're part of job search. Whether you are working, maybe you want the promotion, that's fine. You can still see the job search counselor. Because everybody's got a skill. Everybody's got to go. If you're part of the workshop, you're part of job search. If you're part of the workshop, you're also part of therapy as well. Okay? I'll hand over to Mahat.
So we are actually funded to reach this program to 500 parents every year in different communities. So as Andrew have mentioned that we are the one that are coming out to the communities. Our offices are based in Lansdowne, but we are working in different communities. So we reach out to the parents. So through the years of working this with family affairs, we have so many success stories, and maybe the pages that you have on your desk is one of our success stories that we have actually got through the program. So Akona Nkumbi is one of our success stories. She is from Mfuleni, and I met up with her through an organization called Power Child. And she attended the 7 weeks training. And she had an opportunity to also to see the 2 other components of the program. Because remember, we did mention that this is a personal development training together with parenting skills, which simply means that the program starts to work with the parent. Because if we can start jumping over to parenting skills, while the parent haven't dealt with some of the things that the parent have been going through before they became a parent, it will be a problem. So that's the reason why we start with personal development, so that we can develop a strong parent that will be able to deal with everything. So she got through the program of 7 weeks, personal development and parenting skills, and she had an opportunity to see the job search counselor as well as the therapist. If I were to give you just a brief background of Akona, Akona grew up in Eastern Cape, and she was the unfortunate child to be left in the Eastern Cape by her parents, where the parents moved over to Cape Town. And when they moved over to Cape Town, they took all the youngest children with them, but they left her behind. So she always had this unresolved tension as to why me? Why was I left alone in the Eastern Cape? So she never really had a relationship with her parents. So she always felt that she was isolated. Maybe she's not wanted. She felt this rejection part. And it actually affected the relationship with her own children. Because there's a saying that says, we raise children the way we were raised. So some of the things that our parents do to us, we sometimes unintentionally do to our children. And that's the reason why we always say it begins with you. You have to understand, why do you do the things that you do, in order for you to understand how does it impact you, and if you do it to your child, how will it impact them as well. So Akona went through the program, and through therapy, Akona got to understand the anger and the rejection. Where does it really come from? And when she moved over to Cape Town, she actually did not go stay with the parents, but she decided to go stay with the aunt because of the rocky relationship that she had with her mother. And that's whereby we actually got to see her. And through therapy session, she was able to build an unbreakable relationship with her mother, because she was able to sit her mother down and communicate her feelings and talk to her mother from a heart-to-heart perspective, not from a judgmental perspective. Because sometimes we say we know how to communicate, but reality is we communicate mostly to judge. But through the training, we speak about communication skills and how do you communicate in conflict. So she got those skills, and she was able to build a very strong strong relationship with her mother. But not only that, she was able to understand her child in a deeper level. She was able to support her child as her child was growing. She had a 7-year-old daughter that she managed to build a very strong relationship and be very present with her child's academics and being there for her child. And it did not end there. Through our job search counselor, Uakona got a permanent post through Checkers as a cashier, and she was rated the best cashier of the year on her first year of working, which simply means that if a parent is motivated, has a self-motivation, she believes in herself, she has dealt with some of the tension that has been happening in her life, she is able to actually be centered and achieve everything that she wants to achieve.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Righto. Thank you, Nolly. So how can we serve you? Flats area, and we work with various stakeholders in the community, whether you be a school, whether you be a religious organization, whether you be an NPO, whether it is a community worker or we work directly with communities. We would come in and we would build those partnerships with people, and we would promote our services with them, and we would then with them, we would go about a process where we will then start introducing them to these things that we can serve them with. The first one is we need to recruit about 20 to 25 parents. Now, when we talk about recruiting parents, we actually also mean guardians. Because today we're sitting with a great phenomenon where grandparents are guardians. And they are looking after grandchildren, you know. So if the person has got somebody that is between the ages of 0 and 18 years old and is in their care, that child, they qualify to be part of the program. Okay? It could be a foster care mom. It could be a foster care dad. Earlier when you spoke and you started asking, is there any comments, it was so amazing for me to see that when the mic went around, it was women that were speaking. And when we recruit 20 to 25 parents or guardians, I like emphasizing the fact that the program is both for men and for women, you know. And one of the toughest things is getting men into a class, you know, so that we can talk about family stuff. So we need to get 20 to 25 people. And the reason why we start the group that high is because we'd rather get a lot of people at the beginning, because everybody might not go through the whole program, okay? We would then, if we do partner with anyone, let's say we partner with one of you guys from your school, we would then ask that you provide us with a venue space to run the workshop, and then also a venue space for one-on-one private counseling for the therapist and the job search counselor. We then also just request continued commitment and support through that process, because we have found that when they start going through the program and we are working with our stakeholders, there's an awesome partnership that starts developing through those people. And those people, the parents or the clients that goes through the program, tend to want to really build a relationship with the ones that actually initiated the program, or the stakeholder that's initiated the program in the community. So that's why we would do it in this way. All right? We are really looking forward to working with you guys in future. So thank you. Tatenda?
So I think we're in a position where we are open to work with any of you that are interested. And we've got our contact details both on the success story, but also on the slide here. I think it is important that we try and build resilient families, because even from a school perspective, if we have resilient parents and resilient families, we will definitely have resilient schools. And I'm not sure if any people have any questions, but maybe we're open to take a few questions before we hand over to the next speaker, if that's okay.